So let's dive into Know Her When I See Her. Man, this is such a smooth song. I talked about the band like over the discography. It's like a master class in harmonies. This is a great example of that. How early on did you guys know that harmonies would be a big part of your signature sound? And do harmonies come easy to the band, or is it something you guys really have to work on to perfect?
No, it came early. It came early before we even put the band together. We knew that was going to be part of it. Like once once we decided we were going to do it, once we did the residency at the Gatineau and we were putting the band together, we kind of had this plan, and one of it was a bit country. Terry King, who was the third brother, we said we need a pedal steel player. You're gonna have to learn it, and he went and learned it. And we would do gigs without him. He'd go to Nashville taking classes and stuff. But Terry was a killer vocalist as well, and so the harmonies, I don't take any bows for that at all. The harmonies all came from my brother and Terry. They totally did all the vocal arrangements, and I said, I don't want any part of it. You guys, that's your thing. I'm going to worry about other stuff, the arrangements and the songs and everything like that. And that was kind of the division of labor that we kind of mapped out, And those guys were huge fans of Poco and Flying Burrito Brothers and groups like that. So it was like they're leaning more that way than Beach Boys and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But so you're talking about Know Her When I See Her. So Dream Never Dies, Rock and Roll Cowboys, all that stuff came from the first album. The second album we recorded in Miami, okay, in 79, 80. And after the success of the first album, they wanted us to record in Miami, and they flew me down in advance and checked out a bunch of studios. And the disco craze is going on then, and Bee Gees are big and all that stuff. And Clapton's recorded 461 Ocean Boulevard, and he's down the street of Criterion, and the Bee Gees are there. So that's why they wanted us to be in that milieu. So we go down there. I go down there and talk to Capricorn, and what I don't know is they're struggling. They're on the verge of bankruptcy, right? And so my marching orders from them is write some fucking hits. So the first album, we just recorded it, and then we got a record deal. So left to our own devices, what you hear on that first album, Dream Never Dies, Rock and Roll Cowboys, Away From You, all of that stuff, Old Angel Midnight, that's us. That's the Cooper Brothers. The second album, not so much. The second album with Show Some Emotion, Know Her When I See Her, and all that stuff was very much me writing with a gun to my head to write stuff that could get on the radio. So whether it's good or not, I'm not saying that, but it wasn't from the heart. Do you know what I mean? And so we're in the studio in Miami, and we were there for months because they said, we don't care how much this record costs. The last thing you want to say to a band is, we don't care how much this costs, because it'll cost a fortune, because we'll stay there forever. It's winter here. We're in Florida, So it's like, oh, gee, the album's taking 6 months. And so that album, you have to look at it in that light. Do you know what I mean? So the record company's saying, okay, we're going to send Greg Allman over, and we want Greg to play on a song. And so Greg Allman comes over, and he's stoned, and he doesn't play. And then they say, how did that work out? And we go, no, not good. Okay, what about Chuck Leavell? Okay, Chuck Leavell. So Chuck Leavell comes over, a whole other thing. Chuck's awesome. He winds up playing on a song. And then we got this famous Cuban percussionist. And so it got out of hand because they wanted this album to be a hit, right? And so we got away from what the kind of music we wanted to make. And so Nor When I See Her, the song you're talking about, comes out, it right away goes up the charts and in the States, and then it's out for 2 or 3 weeks, and Capricorn goes bankrupt. So they've got the album they want, but it's not really reflective of what we wanted. Do you know what I mean? So it's, and I think no matter what band you talk to, there's especially if you're dealing with big record labels, it's tough because you're being told very much what to do, you know, and a lot of these creative decisions are taken out of your hands. So that was a tough one, because if you listen to Nora When I See Her and Show Some Emotion, I think both of them are great songs, but it's almost like I wrote them for somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, we put our harmonies in it, but there's no pedal steel. There's no, do you know what I mean? There's no, they're not country rock songs at all. And then if you look at the stuff we've done since then, without Capricorn, it's all back to country rock stuff and very much from our heart, you know? So I just thought I would interject that. And I know it's a bit of a tangent, but that's how that second album, a lot of people say, it sounds weird. You know, I always thought that was the Beach Boys that did Show Some Emotion, right? I always thought it was so, because it was us trying to please the record label to have a hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's I would say that's definitely not an ideal way of writing a record, is, you know, essentially at gunpoint to write hits. It's hard to write a hit, period, especially if there's that kind of pressure, you know.
Yeah. But the song Nora When I See Her, there was a story behind that, because we were recording in a place where it was, besides being an audio facility, there was a video facility, and there was a big commercial being shot in another part of the building, and it was a national American ad for I think it was a car company or something, and there was these girls all auditioning, and they were all ridiculous looking, you know, for a national ad. And as I went to the bathroom in this kind of common area, there was this girl crying, and I said, "Are you all right?" And she said, "No." And I said, "Oh, okay, I'm in there. Do you want to just come in?" And so she came in, and she was crying because she felt that she was in no way as good looking as any of these other girls that were auditioning. Meanwhile, she's absolutely gorgeous. But it was one of those things where I thought, it's how you feel, it's how you see yourself, you know. And even if you're 10 on 10, if that's not how you see yourself, then that's not how you present yourself to the world. And I just thought it was kind of it really kind of hit me that day, because I thought, wow, this girl it's not what she sees in the mirror when she you know, what other people see, and she had no confidence, and it was just so bizarre. And so that's kind of like, that was the Show Some Emotion moment for me. And then Nora When I See Her kind of came out of a similar territory, you know, of they were both written around the same time. But again, I'm trying to write hits, you know. So it's better when you don't try to write hits. It's better when you try to write something from the heart, and a whole bunch of people see that and they connect with that. That's when you're pleasing yourself and your audience, you know.
The saxophone is such a big part of that song, the sound of that song. Is there anything you can share about the sax player, or how you guys decided to include saxophone? So now I'm thinking it's like everything's maybe the label that keeps saying to add something or have this.
So which song, Nora When I See Her or Show Some?
Know Her When I See Her.
Yeah, those songs blend in together for me because they were at the same time. I wrote them at the same time, and they both have saxophone in them, right?
Okay. Know Her When I See Her.
Yeah, again, it's basically us trying to get on the radio, you know, because we didn't have a sax player in the band. You know, that sax player was from the Bee Gees. You know, the Bee Gees were recording down the street, so we used their sax player, you know. And so it's, I don't know what to tell you. And I don't dislike the song.
It's a great song. Yeah.
It's a cool song. Again, was it a Cooper Brothers song? I don't know. We play it and the people dig it. And we kind of rock it up a bit on stage.